The air was thick with smoke. The smell of burning buildings and bodies filled the air. Aemond stood among the dead and dying, his face emotionless. He had just fought fiercely to take this castle and he was victorious. He looked around calmly, taking in the destruction and devastation. As the flames danced higher and higher, Aemond stood there stoically. He watched the castle burn with a calm air about him. The light of the flames dancing off his silver hair. There was something almost poetic about it. The destruction and chaos, he thought to himself. Almost beautiful. After a few minutes of staring, he turned away and walked into the castle, entering the burning building alone. As Aemond entered the throne room, he took a deep breath, inhaling the smoke and taking in the sight before him. The room was still mostly intact, the fire not yet having spread this far. The ceiling was singed, and the tapestries on the wall were black with smoke, but the throne remained standing. Aemond walked slowly towards the throne, his boots crunching on the broken glass and debris on the floor. As Aemond walked closer to the throne, he suddenly spotted a figure sitting upon it. For a moment he thought it was a hallucination, an illusion created by the smoke and fire. He stopped and stared, his single eye narrowing as he examined the figure with his gaze. Finally he realized it was indeed a person, the princess, sitting upon the throne as though she was meant to be there. "Your kingdom is ash," he said in a cold, measured tone. "Yet here you stand, upon its throne." He took a step closer, his good eye fixed on her. "What is it you hope to accomplish by sitting there as everything you love burns around you?" Aemond's face remained impassive as he listened to the princess's words. There was a defiant strength to her, he had to admit. Despite the chaos and destruction, she still held on to her royal pride. "But to what end?" he asked, his voice low and measured. "What do you gain by this? You know this war is lost. Your father is dead, your kingdom destroyed. What purpose does this empty gesture serve?" Aemond's single eye met the princess's defiant gaze, his expression unreadable. There was a part of him that could almost admire her courage in the face of such certain defeat. Yet, the sensible part of him saw the foolishness of her actions. "You are needlessly stubborn. Burning along with your kingdom won't change the outcome of this war. It's over, princess. Your cause is lost." Aemond's eyes softened slightly as he saw the tears streaming down the princess's face. He almost felt a pang of sympathy for her. Almost. He took another step forward, standing now just a few feet away from her. He studied her for a moment, his single eye fixed on her tear-streaked face. "What I want," he said slowly, his voice barely above a whisper, "is your surrender." Aemond clenched his jaw as the princess defiantly refused to surrender. He had expected her to at least be reasonable, to recognize the futility of her fight, but she was as stubborn as she was beautiful. He let out a scoff, his eye narrowing slightly. "You are a fool then," he said, his voice cold and harsh. "Your kingdom is lost, your father dead. What point is there in resisting now? You can't defeat me. You can't win." Aemond gritted his teeth in frustration. The princess's stubbornness was beginning to irk him. Did she not understand the gravity of her situation? He took a deep breath and tried again. "You're being irrational," he said, his voice a low growl. "There is no point in dying here, in this burning castle. Why throw away your life in vain?" Aemond's eye widened for a moment, surprised by the princess's question. Why did he care about her life? He was here to conquer her kingdom, to claim her throne. He shouldn't care what happened to her. But the truth was, he did. He couldn't exactly explain why, but the thought of her dying here in this burning castle made something in him clench. He didn't answer her question. Instead, he changed the subject. "You are a valuable prize," he said bluntly. Aemond's eyes scanned over her form, taking in every detail of her appearance. He didn't respond immediately, instead letting his gaze linger on her. He tried to ignore the odd feeling in his chest. "Yes," he said finally, his voice cold and matter-of-fact. "You are a valuable prize, princess. Your name, your royal blood, your beauty, all of it makes you valuable." Aemond's eye narrowed as the princess denied being his prize. His jaw clenched, and a hint of anger flitted across his face. "You are wrong," he said, his voice low and threatening. "I won the battle. I have conquered your kingdom, and I have a right to claim whatever I want as my prize. You are mine, sir." Aemond's eye still fixed on the princess, he slowly began to walk forward, each step calculated and deliberate. "I claim you," he said, his voice dropping even lower, almost a growl. He was now standing directly in front of her, so close they could almost reach out and touch her. "You are mine, princess, mine." Aemond raised an eyebrow at the princess's command, a small, amused smirk playing at the corners of his mouth. It was almost endearing, the way she tried to order him around, as if she still held any power here. He let out a low chuckle, his single eye still on her. "And why, pray tell, should I leave?" he asked, his tone lightly mocking. Aemond's smirk disappeared, replaced by a serious expression. For a moment, he almost looked offended by the princess's suggestion. "You really think I would leave you to die in this burning castle?" he said, his voice a mix of irritation and disbelief. "Oh, please, you are coming with me, princess, whether you like it or not." Aemond was taken aback by the princess's closeness, her face so close to his that he could feel her breath on his skin. He stared into her eyes, his own eyes softening for a moment. But then he hardened his heart again. "Because," he said, his voice low and intense, "you are not going to die. Not here, not now. You're coming with me, and you're going to live. End of discussion." Aemond's hand slowly reached out, his fingers lightly touching the princess's face as he gently wiped away a tear. He was surprised at himself for this sudden, gentle action, but he couldn't seem to stop himself. He continued to stare at her, his eye fixed on hers, his touch soft and almost tender. Aemond's hand lingered on the princess's cheek for a moment more before it moved upwards, gently running through her hair. He couldn't deny it anymore. He was softening towards her, the way she looked, the way she sounded, the way she felt under his touch. She was adorable. He continued to brush his hand through her hair, gently petting her, his expression gradually losing its usual hardness. As Aemond continued to run his fingers through the princess's hair, he suddenly remembered their surroundings. The fire was growing stronger. The castle was collapsing around them. He snapped back to reality, his hand tensing for a moment. "We have to get out of here," he said urgently, his voice gruff. "This place is falling apart." Aemond's eye rolled as the princess once again refused to leave. It was almost comical, the way she insisted on staying in this burning castle. But he was more concerned with her stubbornness than he was amused. With a scoff, he grabbed her around the waist, easily lifting her over his shoulders in a fireman's carry. "Stubborn little fool," he muttered under his breath, his grip on her firm. Aemond couldn't help but allow a small smile to form on his lips as he carried the princess out of the burning castle. He held her easily over his shoulders, her body warm and soft against his own. He felt a strange sense of possession as he walked, the realization that he had won, that he had claimed her, settling into his mind. As they walked out through the crumbling doors, he looked at her over his shoulder and said, "I've won, princess. You belong to me now. Remember? You're mine,